I'm willing to see, or I'm willing to bet that that's probably the intended role with regard to the use of this weapon to support the rest of the team as they push up into the enemy base, or being able to create all this pressure to sort of help disperse the enemy team. I'm not sure if Prophecy has a lot of experience of dealing with that sort of thing, but of course, this is Prophecy we're talking about, so they've already seen so many different things in the book. So, between both of these teams, 4th and 5th seed, we're obviously going to be seeing a very, very hype match. But who's going to be the victor here? Who do you think is going to be able to walk away from this, the victor? Because, it really depends on whether Prophecy is able to play their strengths, or InControl right now. It seems like they have the stability of their team and their teammates to actually work together, and the good communication needed to actually win the games that they need, just like they actually did all the way here into top 12.
One thing I really like to see about these two teams is that they have been together forever. These two teams are very, very long-standing ones, and so they're going to have that synergy really well established with each other. I think in terms of that synergy, that can sometimes make the difference, and they're both going to have it. I would say if I had to, make the choice, I would probably guess Prophecy. If I had to, I don't want to until game 1.
Well,
we're on Piranha Pit Splat Zones for that game 1. I think this is going to be the litmus test. We'll see how they play this. There's the bamboo coming out. Prophecy, one of the first teams to put that bamboo to use. We've got a ballpoint coming out on both sides for the first time that we've seen so far on top 12. Let's see where they position.
Oh, Quintet's are actually very well known for actually using the bamboo right here. We're going to see how much of it's going to be able to play in this game. But of course, Arashi right now just trying to play a little bit safer here, trying to just scout out the enemy team, just turfing as much as possible. Does have the baller at the ready. 2 members of InControl do go down. So right now, of course, Prophecy charging in head first with that baller, scaring off the last remaining member of InControl back to their base. And now it's going to be up to InControl to see what they can do to fight back against all this pressure.
Very blue map right now, but this is one of those maps where the way into center is pretty short. So as long as you can get the picks, as long as you can get a special down at the right time, you should be able to just maneuver your way around that conveyor and get to the zone. Ooh, Dash gets taken down. See, that's the issue. It's also short for the other team to look at your spawn. There's very little room that you have to work with if they're trying to guard it.
Oh, and Control's actually going to have to build up as many specials as they can before they actually go all in. Right now, they do have that added feature of just being able to take down 3 members on Prophecy. So right now, this is going to be their control, or sorry, the zones are going to be going to them. And now just going to see if they could try to take a page from Prophecy's book and apply that same pressure in return.
This is the test for InControl. They managed to get their picks. They managed to get a good position. Can they push for as long as Prophecy just did? That's the question here. It's not whether you can get in. Any team can get in with the right combination of pushes. It's can you stay in?
Chara right now activating that bomb rush, but being pushed back because of the rain cloud. Right now, Bisky just trying to reposition properly with that ball point, trying to see what kind of pressure can be added. Bubbles do go out, but no picks have been made at the moment right now. So it's kind of a little bit of it back and forth. InControl do manage to get the lead, but for how long?
I love the way that Bisky was rotating around the conveyor there. He made it so that he could get all of the missiles to fall off of the zone while still maintaining control over the zone. He always was able to shoot at it. And he's really happy with how that went, as we can see there.
Bisky coming up super huge, getting the 2 splats needed for the rest of the team to collapse right in on Prophecy. Right now, Prophecy having a little bit of trouble trying to get in. 6 points remain. Prophecy has to be able to get that zone, but just like that, InControl saying, no way, we are going to have this zone right here. Muty showing signs of life right now, getting 2 picks.
That's
going to be a full wipe with 2 points left right there. Prophecy managed to get the zone back in their favor, and they have to be able to hold this.
I was about ready to call it. It looked like Prophecy's specials were getting staggered. It looked like they weren't able to put them all down at the same time. But Muty coming up with that huge play, the 75 penalty. That's about as high as it can possibly get. So now they have so much more time to work back into the zone and try and establish a lead again.
That was a little too close for comfort. Just like that, it seems like Prophecy right now has to be very careful, or else InControl will totally run amok. Bubbles do go down. Quake right now actually using the bubbles to his advantage with that rain cloud, being able to take down Arashi. Quake right now just showing so much dominant performance right here in the midsection of the map. And just like that, right now, Prophecy has to backpedal just a little bit. Missiles do go down. And right now, Prophecy has to be able to find this answer. Rain Cloud does go out, and hopefully they can get the pick, which they do.
All right, let's see. It's a 3v3 situation. Bisky has been holding it down so well for InControl. Gets another pick there. Already has the highest number of splats in the game. And since they've gone down, that might have been it. Yeah, that was the foundation of their defense. So let's see how well Arashi can sneak around here and get going. Oh, there's someone who sees him. He's been called out at this point.
Chara doing very well for the rest of the team. Actually managed to go in front with Umbrella, trying to shield Arashi as much as possible. But right now, InControl seems like they're trying to find an answer to this as the point timer actually runs down for Prophecy.
Quake trying to maneuver in with those bubbles. One of the tricks with bubbles is that you have to get them close enough to the zone before they're going to really be effective for painting it. That can be a challenge sometimes, even if you have a weapon with as long a range as the foil squeezer. You might not want to play quite up that close.
Well, Rashi has to be careful with that baller. Even though he charged right in, not only the baller shield was just completely shredded by InControl, but he manages to get taken out in the process right now. So that's going to be up to Prophecy to see what they can do to just sort of backpedal and see what they can make up for that one-man loss right there.
Bisky standing firm on the zone and gets sniped for it. Prophecy looking like they're going to be able to move in and try and take control of this left conveyor here. If they can get it, then that would be a really powerful position for the last 15 seconds of this.
Oh, the timer is almost up, but right now Prophecy has this one last opportunity to be able to swing things around in their favor. But right now the point difference is so huge. InControl looking so good, but of course they're still kind of just sitting around in the back of their base. If Prophecy can actually maintain this pressure, they might be able to take this.
There's the overtime push. InControl needs to play it a little bit patient here. They need to make sure that they're getting their picks and not going into a dangerous situation, because they need to cap.
Oh, there's a full wipe!
Oh my goodness, are they going to do it? I think
my
Prophecy
goodness.
might have just pulled it right back. Can anyone get to the zone? Muty is in such a powerful position right now. Gets another pick.
Oh, this might just be it. Overtime.
That zone is getting painted a lot, but
Oh!
oh my goodness. Dash could have had it at the end there. He got a fantastic flank and would have gotten the other zone neutralized.
What a game.
Wow. Okay, they're going to be fireworks in this match.
What a game. I am speechless.
InControl came to play. Look, the splats are so even across those two teams. InControl came to play. They are ready to compete at this level, and Prophecy, they held on, but oh my god, they're probably reeling a little bit from how close that was.
I'm sweating, Jen.
I know I am.
I am sweating. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Splatoon at Genesis 7. This is nuts. I know I say it a lot, but whew, I can't reiterate that enough. I can't reiterate that enough.
For such a short game, for it to be that close, oh my god. All right.
Man, oh man.
So let's talk about the counterpick situation right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about the counterpicks.
Because that's what you when it's that close, when it's that tight, what you have to do is think not about the results. You don't want to think about who won, who lost. You want to think, all right, what did we learn, and what are we going to do next? You want to think about the game and not about your expectations for the game. So they went to Anchovy Games. The way this works is that the winning team gets to ban a couple of maps. This is after the mode has been chosen, which is done by the losing team. They get to ban a couple of maps, but then the losing team just gets to pick from the entire map list that is available to them. And so this Anchovy Games, this is a choice by InControl that they think they will do well on, as well as Tower Control. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to the way that a Smash tournament is run. And hey, we're at Genesis. In case you didn't know, we have Smash Bros here. So there's your idea.
But you know what? This is good. I was saying earlier during the break, I wanted to pick your brain a bit on the whole idea of counterpicks, because you know this is seen not just in Smash, but it's seen in a wide variety of different games. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you having experience in Smash, what can you tell me about players with regard to counterpicks? What's usually the philosophy that goes into it? Because you know this is kind of like a newer concept that we're applying in Splatoon. Well, actually, no. To be fair, it's been around, but we're applying it here, and it does make a huge difference with regards to just how it might just guide the the team towards victory or defeat.
It is a really complicated concept for this game compared to, say, a fighting game where you only have a few characters, you have a few stages that you might play. Here we have an entire weapon comp that we need to balance around, and sometimes you might just be able to run a gimmick comp on a stage that maybe your opponents aren't ready for. Well, let's see what they're trying to run here. We're loading into Anchovy Games Tower Control. So right off the bat, I'm looking for inkjets, and we see one on Dash. We see one on Arashi. Inkjet is extremely powerful on this map for locking out once you can get up onto the plat. Because if you can challenge their that top snipe area on the top left, it's really difficult to get in. They funnel in from one direction.
So it seems like both of the teams actually had the right idea with regard to the Inkjet. It's funny that you point that out. But earlier during that game, if you saw Chara actually just kind of use that umbrella to see if they can take that sneaky across the map, who knows if Chara will actually be able to play a little bit more of a just sneak into the enemy base in that way. But of course, we see Arashi right here using the Inkjet at that really, really high ledge right there.
Another way that we just saw that the Inkjet is really good on this map, those high walls, you can Inkjet up from there. You're out of the range of most of the weapons in the game if you're up there, but you get to rain down on your opponents from there as long as your jump was from a safe place.
Right now, it was a 3v3 situation. There's going to be a lot of back and forth around this midsection of the map in Anchovy before one team feels confident enough to actually start the push. So we might see this for a little bit. There are specials being loaded on both teams right now. It's a matter of trying to see which team is able to get the first pick. Both teams are playing really, really patiently right now, but it seems that Prophecy right now is winning off this this battle in the center. But of course, Tetsu does go down with the Bamboozler. So now in a 4v3 situation, you're going to see InControl just push right up to the enemy base and try to see if they can actually make a push toward the plat.
We've been talking about the specials already, but I want to point out also Prophecy opting not to go with a Booyah Bomb, which has been a really classic choice so far in this patch for shutting down the tower push. They've actually gone double rain, which is a little bit longer, slower of a hazard, but can be just as hazardous, just as dangerous for the tower rider if they choose to stay on the tower there. So a slower but more thorough approach versus a quicker, more of a Band-Aid kind of fix in terms of shutting down tower pushes.
Well, we'll see if that actually does come into play right here. Arashi right now actually using the Inkjet trying to just pick off as many people, or at least push the InControl off their plat and trying to see if they can reset it back to the neutral here in mid.
Yeah, it's really been a long extended neutral game between these two teams so far. We've got one checkpoint pushed through by InControl, but that checkpoint's not necessarily the most difficult one. The real challenge is getting across the other team's plat. I know that InControl is not quite satisfied with this push yet. They're going to want to push a little bit further before they consider this, okay, we can hold. This is a winning push.
Prophecy kind of just backed up onto the plat right there. It seems like they were just grouped a little too much. But right now, InControl seems like they have a handle in the situation, just pushing right into the enemy base. Dash whatsoever has no fear, just pushes in right into the enemy base right now. And here comes the Inkjet actually coming in from InControl.
Yeah, challenging that top left again. Because Prophecy wasn't able to move in from there, they are funneled into that long ramp area that is really vulnerable to InControl. And InControl is playing the map really well right now. Ooh. Visky by himself gets one.
Gets taken out in the process, but just like that, Tetsu manages to secure the tower as necessary. Now Prophecy has to be able to actually secure this midsection right here. But of course, InControl looking really good with 37 points. Tetsu has to actually move back a little bit because there was that pressure coming in from InControl, but with that jump right back to the base, it seems like everything's a little bit safe, and we're just resetting it back to the neutral.
Prophecy looks like they're getting a push going. We saw Tetsu use missiles there on them on their way in from spawn. That's a fantastic strategy for figuring out where your opponents are going to be coming from and being able to send your frontliners in to maybe intercept them. However, it doesn't seem to have worked. They've got a full wipe on their hands. Simo coming in, hamming it up for the camera a little bit.
The disrespect coming in from Simo after getting at that burst bomb rush. But you know what? It might play. You gotta feel good after playing, making a play like that, taking out two members of Prophecy. You want to be able to actually show in this dominant performance, push into the enemy base, and just like that, right now, Prophecy. It seems like they've been spending a larger portion of this game just in their own base.
Fantastic rain cloud coming over the perch there, and great follow up from InControl to get the bamboo off of that top area. That is basically the only area that can threaten the tower until it gets to where it is right now. And so that's a really important area to control when you're trying to make a push on this map.
With 19 seconds left on the clock, I have to say that InControl, I can sort of understand why they chose this map, right? Because they chose this as their counter pick, and it seems like they have a full handle on how everything goes. To me, it really speaks volumes about how familiar they are with this map. But that being said, Prophecy right now, they have one final chance. They head into the overtime. Tetsu right now just sitting on the tower as Chara
here
actually
comes
tries
the
to push
Booyah Bomb. Is this just the GG Booyah?
Oh, and
wow, they didn't even need the Booyah. They picked them off before it went down.
Whew.
So, wow. So InControl firing right back with a very well-chosen counter pick. That's a pretty dominant score on that counter pick, even as we saw Prophecy, taking some of the same strategies, especially with the specials, and trying to, play the map the way it's kind of traditionally played. InControl fires back. Now, the other thing that we have to talk about with the counter picks is the concept of counter pick advantage.
Yes.
Because if you win game 1, no matter how many games the other team wins, you're going to have counter pick on the deciding game if you win that game 1.
Yeah.
So let's say Prophecy comes back with one strong counter pick of their own. Well, if it alternates like that continuously, even all the way out to a game 5, who's going to have the counter pick on game 5? It's going to be Prophecy. At some point, InControl needs to break, to use a tennis term. They need to win on Prophecy's counter pick. So in this metagame that we have to consider for counterpicking stages in Splatoon, you have to think, how deep does Prophecy's bag of tricks go? Do they have a strong counterpick that will answer everything InControl is throwing at them for all of the games that they need to win with that counterpick?
Or vice versa, depending on the counterpick. But here's another thing too. At what point will one of these teams start to catch on to what these, like this infamous bag of tricks, as you've already claimed it? At what point will one of these teams actually be able to actually see what's going on and then say, okay, we see what you're playing, we see your game, and then smarten up and make the adjustments as necessary mid-game. And these two teams are totally capable of doing that. Like, there's no joke. Like, these two teams have already experienced, I'm sure with the lifetime of games in tournaments and other competitive events that they've actually entered together, these teams are probably no stranger to anything that any other team could probably throw at them.
Every top player is an analyst.
Yeah.
Every top player, could, sit on the mic here and tell us a whole lot about the game. And we've got 4 top players on each of these 2 teams, and they're going to have a wealth of strategies and ideas to kick around between them all. So one other thing that you might consider in a game like a fighting game where you're only going to play maybe one character, you kind of know what that character wants to do.
Yeah.
But these are much more malleable, much more flexible. They're team comps, and you can form them up however you want as long as your team can execute them.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm curious to see is, on one of these counterpicks, does one of the teams have a better answer for that counterpick than the team that's counterpicking it?
And speaking of counterpicks, going into this game 3 right here, we have ourselves Humpback Pump Track, Rainmaker, I believe. Yes, that would be the Rainmaker. This would actually be Prophecy's counterpick. So I'm interested to see exactly why they actually chose this. Right now, in terms of their team comp, it seems like we're seeing a lot of the things that we've normally seen. But right now, it seems that also InControl, they've opted for something that's a little bit different from what we've seen throughout the rest of this tournament. They actually do have right there the camo tent.
I was looking at that too. That's the first time we've seen the camo tent so far on our commentary block. First time I've seen it at the tournament, I think. It has not been nearly as popular as it was a little while back. So it'll be interesting to see how they want to use it. My guess is that they're trying to keep control of their plat with it. They're trying to keep their stake to their own territory, because it can be really scary if the opposing team is able to sneak around it. Wow, they just overpower it.
They just melted that. I mean, like, yeah, they tossed out the tent, and Prophecy's like, nuh-uh, we're not going to have any of that.
Something I've been really impressed about the top teams that I've been seeing, they are able to put down a lot of paint on an objective when they need to. They're able to pop Rainmakers really fast. They're able to pop Tent Umbrellas really fast. They just go, hey, everyone, shoot this right now, and it goes down.
Yeah, you know what, like to the lesser experienced team, they're going to see a camo tent, and they're going to obviously experience the usual nuisances that a camo tent is able to bring into battle. But just like that, it seems like just Prophecy knows how to deal with that. They show no signs of fear whatsoever with regards to the camo tent.
It's going to take a really long time on this elbow here. This is one of those choke points on this map that will really blow the game open as soon as anyone gets past it, but it is so hard to push from that side if the other team is up because they have full vision of anything you're trying to do as long as you're not around the corner. You're just kind of walking out and hoping you can win the fight against them, especially against some of these longer range weapons. The ballpoint and the heavy are going to be really integral to keeping that push from going any further.
This game does seem to be going a lot back and forth right now. I don't think that any team has any super clear advantage. Of course, Prophecy does have the 59-point lead, but 59 points in Humpback doesn't really mean much, especially with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock.
Right, almost 3 minutes left to go, and really, it's still InControl's move. They still have yet to say, all right, we're going to try and go now. They might be choosing that now because they just threw out a Stingray. The Bomb Rush might be trying to shut that down. Kara going down to Quake on the right-hand side. Let's see if Quake can get onto their plat and actually start something going here.
Oh, Simo right now actually getting in position, telling the rest of the Rainmaker to actually move up.
Arashi.
But Arashi says, no way, you're not grabbing that thing.
Where were you hiding?
Yeah, exactly. The Prophecy, beautiful defense actually coming by them. It seems like they're playing a little bit more of the defensive push right here. Chara right now just circling around the map trying to see what he can do. Gets taken out by Dash just at the split second right there.
It looked like Arashi for a second. I misread. Arashi is really well known for... He seems to kind of play really far apart from his teammates sometimes. He'll just push up by himself and catch you at odd angles, and he's just a solid enough player that he can do that. Look, here he is again. He has no backup there, but he was able to pick someone off from the back lines, and that's going to make the push take a little bit longer to develop.
Usually in most team fight scenarios right here, you would expect most teams to actually stick together, but Arashi, Arashi's really experienced to know where he has to be. He knows when to be, where to be, and when,
I remember seeing him on Manta at some point in an earlier tournament, pushed into their pit with the entire team left at mid, and he came up with 2 picks from there because he just knew his positioning well enough. So that gives you kind of an idea of what he's going to be trying to do with that K-Shot. K-Shot also a fantastic weapon for doing that because you can see where your opponents are with the missiles.
Right now it seems
trying to lock it down in their base.
We're still stuck a little bit on this elbow right here. Of course, InControl manages to get the lead right here that they needed. But Prophecy, right now, they do have the specials at the ready, trying to wait for the perfect time. Arashi gets taken out in the process. It's going to be a little bit unfortunate because it seems like Prophecy was just waiting for the perfect opportunity to be able to use all those specials that they had at their disposal. Right now, it's a 3v3 situation. InControl looking like they're losing a little bit of signs of life right here. But of course, with 35 seconds left on the clock, it could still be anyone's game right now.
Ooh, let's see. Oh, good jump out. Wow, that was an immediate reaction. Oh, Muty's here. I'm gone. Yeah,
right.
Muty doing a great job of holding it down from the back line. Was able to handle the flanker there with ease. Just peeking around that corner. Oh, there's a flank. There's a flank.
Tessie has to be careful. Stingray does come out. Gets taken to the process. 15 seconds left on the clock. Bisky coming up huge.
2.
Oh, just like that, they managed to take the lead.
Bisky shuts it down, but Prophecy was just able to pick it up. I don't know how Kara found that.
Yeah.
Where did he pull that out of his back pocket?
Kara, just like that, at the last second, being able to pick up the Rainmaker. I didn't even see Kara there.
We couldn't see where he was because it was over the edge. So
no, but just even in that team fight scenario, it seems like Kara was just kind of like circling around the area and just managed to pick up the Rainmaker just like that and just books it.
Yeah, sometimes, you just end up in the right place at the right time, and you're like, well, we just lost this fight, but hey, there's the Rainmaker. Let's see what we can do. And it looks like that's how they won the game.
All right.
Wow.
Well played by Prophecy. Actually, this was their counter pick, right?
Right, this was their counter pick. So far, I mean, counter pick advantage playing to their favor. They have yet to be broken, and that's going to be the story of the set. Can InControl do it on their counter pick?
All right, so, okay, like, as we already predicted, kind of in a sense, it's like there's going to be obviously a lot of back and forth if the teams play things that they're well suited towards, right? But at one point, especially with 2 potential maps left on this list, there is the possibility that one of these teams will smarten up and probably be able to beat the opposing team at their own game. It's just a question of when. Right now, we're still trying to see what exactly is going to be the counter pick going into this next Game 4. But judging based on what we've seen so far, it seems that Prophecy seems to have a good handle of things. They already won Game 1, and if they keep going at the counter pick sort of game, I guess, if you will, it seems like they may be able to win the set in their favor.
I think even on that map, that was scary for Prophecy. InControl had a 41 to 55 push, and I mean that's not an enormous one, but the thing is, they closed around that so well. We saw Bisky get the double with the Stingray, and then it was a 3v1 with 3 members of InControl surrounding the Rainmaker. I don't know how Kara pulled that off. I literally have no idea how they weren't shot down immediately for trying to pick it up, but somehow they were able to squiggly squid maneuver, as we like to call it, up that wall and get the lead there. That's not a margin that I feel like Prophecy is probably happy with. They probably wanted it to be a little bit less close than that.
If we wanted to talk more specifically about that situation, I would say a good way to just sort of describe it was InControl was more focused on getting rid of the Rainmaker carrier, but not so much thinking about what will happen if another person just picks it up right off the bat, right? And that's exactly what happened. Tetsu was holding the Rainmaker, managed to get that push going, and then just like that, Kara just picks it up at the second point right there, and just squiddly squid maneuvers right into the lead. So, anyways, we are going to go into Game 4. This is, of course, InControl's counter pick at the moment, and they actually decided to settle on Rainmaker Blackbelly, which is a bit of an odd map to say. I mean, all these have been so far kind of like weird picks, right? But then again, that's just how counter picks seems to sort of favor certain comps and styles and teams.
I kind of see this coming out of InControl because they've been favoring Stingray in a lot of these situations, and I think this is a really strong Stingray map mode for shutting down pushes. Like, they're all going to come in a line, whichever direction they're trying to head.
Yeah.
So maybe that came into play. I don't know. We'll see.
But I do want to talk about the nature of Blackbelly Skate Park right here for Rainmaker. I mean, Blackbelly tends to have all these like really, really highs and mid section. It's a very vertical map, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, even with the changes that I did make to the map, it's still a very vertical map in that sense. And of course, things like Stingray, as you said, are going to be playing a huge role in this. Prophecy packing no Stingrays whatsoever, but it seems that right now we have InControl. They do actually have at least one Stingray and the Booyah Ball to boot.
Yeah. And the thing that makes this particular mode so different is that whereas with every other Blackbelly mode, you have the mid that's really tall and is getting in the way of everything, here it's lowered down. So
did you see that? Arashi just came out of nowhere.
I expected this point, honestly.
It's exactly the thing that you were talking about earlier, Arashi. Just known for just kind of hanging around, and just like that, he's right in your face.
Sneaky squid.
Yeah. But just like that, 2 members of Prophecy were down, and just Arashi comes out of nowhere. It's like, hey, guys.
Did you forget that I was on the map?
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
No, you got to be very careful with that, Arashi. Sneaky, sneaky. But anyways, we're back to right in the center map right here. Quake actually using that Booyah Ball to push the enemy team as far away as possible. And now it's just a question of whether or not they can actually get the pick.
And I'm scared for Quake right now. And we know that there are a couple right in front of him. But it looks like his teammates are pushing out middle for him.
Especially on Blackbelly. As soon as one person picks up the Rainmaker, 3 members have to be able to actually support the Rainmaker as best as possible. Pushing up InControl right now. Looking really good, but of course we have a 1-down situation for both teams. Rainmaker does go down, and just like that, Prophecy secures a wipe for their team.
Tetsu coming up big with that defense with the bamboo. It's looking like that's not the first time we've seen a bamboo shut pushes down. It might be that it's just a really strong weapon for getting the objective down.
Oh, Tetsu has to be careful of that Stingray. That's the second time already. Whenever he picks up the Rainmaker, Stingray just comes right out for him. But just like that, Kara right now, just for being able to use that bomb rush as much as possible to be able to actually secure the Rainmaker for them. But it's going to be a little exposed at the moment. And right now, I think that InControl has to be able to actually secure as much turf as possible before they make that push.
There's a 4-member Tentamissiles, so InControl knows where all of Prophecy is, at least at the moment. But it looks like they're taking this time to kind of reset. They're taking this time to get some map control and to try and engage on more neutral terms this time.
And Blackbelly, I just want to mention that just by nature of this map, it's one of those things where even though we might see a little bit of a lagging mid-game, you can't blink, because at the very last second, just like that, just due to the nature of how small this map is, the lead can just flip just like that.
They have to deal with Muty here. Muty has such aggressive positioning up there on that bunker area, and it looked like they weren't really able to do anything about her. They're still shooting at that Rainmaker.
Prophecy right now.
It looks so tantalizing out there, but they can't get there that safely. There's a splatter scope watching.
They have to be patient, but of course right now InControl trying to push on the defense as much as possible. 3 members of Prophecy do go down, and Bisky right now just trying to repel the last of the stragglers right here. Takes out Tetsu, who tried to jump in a little too prematurely, and just like that right now InControl trying to see what they can actually do to secure the map before they grab the Rainmaker.
No knockout there. InControl playing the defense too efficiently for that, but that was a really commanding push from Prophecy up until that point. And whether you get the finish, I mean, sometimes it feels like more random than anything. Oof. Oof. Rashi dueling Umbrella. This is crazy.
Oh.
Oh my God. He gets the
One down situation.
Ooh,
But there, oh,
fantastic play from Quake.
Very well done by
Quake.
Quake.
Really saved that fight. Arashi, I don't know how you can 1v1 Umbrella with that weapon. How?
Okay, here we go. Booyah Ball. Quake looking really good. Rainmaker here comes in tow right now. 50 points left for them.
Was it too far forward?
Oh, that might have been a little bit of a misplay right there. Bisky has to back down just a little bit. Suction Bomb threatening a little bit right there. But of course, Prophecy being able to be as defiant as possible as InControl pushes. Oh, a little too impatient right there. But of course, right now, Prophecy looking really good. 1 minute left on the clock. 3 members of InControl go down. So right now, it's just a matter of Prophecy trying to see what they can do with the Rainmaker.
I think ultimately it came down to that Booyah Bomb play there. I think that Booyah Bomb went out a little bit too far ahead of the Rainmaker to protect it, and so it zoned them back off, but they weren't able to make enough progress with it. Simo trying to establish a positioning in mid, but realizes he has to rotate back to half pipe here. Sees Kara, throws a bomb his way, and then goes back the other direction.
Oh, here comes a Stingray right here, just as before. Oh,
didn't get a single hit. Oh my goodness. Fantastic play from the Rainmaker to avoid that. That's not easy to do.
Yeah. Especially in the half pipe in the half pipe section of the map, you don't have that much you don't have that much space to maneuver around, especially just with how the nature of how Black Belly is. But of course, Tetsu getting Quake right there, beautiful splat, and
one
of
for
course
one with Arashi going down in the middle. Oh, this Rainmaker's about to pop. There's no way that they get lead. Oof. Okay. Oh, that's 3 down for InControl.
Well, this might be. This is going to be their. This is definitely going to be their last push. Okay, we head into overtime right here. Now it's just a matter of trying to see what InControl can do, and of course they do have the special ready, the bomb rush. But they need to be a little bit more careful with how they approach. Simo, I think, maybe pushing up a little too far up, and 2 members of InControl go down. Bisky has to be super careful and just dodge left and right, making sure that protecting the Rainmaker as much as possible.
Oh, Prophecy closed down so well there. Oh. InControl able to kite them back a little bit. They're still not down.
Oh, here comes the Rain Cloud. Has to be careful right there.
How much time does the Rainmaker have? 25 seconds? That might be enough time.
Oh, here we go. Tenta missiles coming out. Simo does go down. Arashi trying to position
himself. Another 3 down.
Oh, this is going to be it. Bisky has to be so careful. 1 person protecting right there. Dashi not able to actually protect the Rainmaker as much as possible. Now Bisky's a little bit in trouble. And just like that, manages to clutch out the game by taking out the Rainmaker. Beautiful game.
Whew. Prophecy was so methodical at the end there. They did such a fantastic job of playing defense. They didn't overcommit. There were so many times where it looked like they were just itching to try and flank. Arashi was sitting there on their mini trying to get around to that half pipe, but they knew every single time, okay, it's not safe yet. I need to wait till it's safe. Didn't even go after the Rainmaker right away. Arashi was dealing with the jumpers that were coming in. They were trying to hurt the push's sustain more than they were trying to just, tunnel on the Rainmaker. So fantastic patience out of Prophecy to close that out.
So I think that was the game that I was talking about a little bit earlier, where it happened to be an InControl counter pick, but Prophecy just had the plays necessary. It seems like they were being very, very dominant throughout the entire